that'll make it worse. That's fueling conspiracies in the sense because people are saying, so recently Denmark, I think, was the first country to actually institute something like vaccine passport. So people who are fully vaccinated are able to leave the country and go places with more freedom. And even over there, there's a discussion about sort of like freedom, civil liberties, making sort of an underclass. Like I've heard that, like a vaccine underclass, having people who, for whatever reason, just choose not to have the vaccine, have their movements restricted. People are saying that's unconstitutional in the American sense. People are saying that violates their human rights. It's pretty interesting, sort of, set of concerns.
I feel like that's just gonna devastate economies that rely on people.
Oh yeah,
I'm thinking about Brazil, bro. Brazil. Let's go back to Brazil. Mm-hmm. Like my man, they're fucking screwed, bro. Like if we were to do something like, because I have no fucking say in that shit. Like, that's just gonna.
I doubt they're gonna do it. I highly doubt that Brazil's gonna do any sort of vaccine. I highly doubt them out of all countries.
Dude, you gotta think about the Caribbean countries.
You
gotta think about Mexico. You gotta think of you gotta think about third world countries that tourism is their number one source of infrastructure. Like that is going to directly affect them.
Well, it depends how they do it. Are they going to restrict people from going to those places?
Mr. Bass,
run down.
Hallelujah. We'd definitely surpass 1 million if that was the case. You gotta give or take.
Yeah. So how's everyone doing? Like, how's everyone circa 2021? How you been?
I've been good. Productive. You gotta be.
What's productive look like?
Productive looks like a lot of masterclass, a lot of pseudo interviews with people in the industry or in different types of career paths, this, that, and the third.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of studio time. Like I was in studio for 2 days straight.
Oh, when's it coming out? When you dropping it? When you dropping
it? Soon. Well, the Ezioku, or the Nigerian bop that you guys got the exclusive for. Our viewers didn't get the exclusive. They're not gonna get that. Sorry.
That's the Patreon.
Thanks. That's the next single. And I'm like working behind the scenes, setting up a whole video rollout TikTok strategy for it on top of that. So, but yeah, that is going to be the next single, and the album is going to come this year. The album absolutely is going to come this year for sure.
Mm-hmm.
The follow up to the EP that dropped last year, Jonah, available on all platforms. Go cop that, folks.
Dope, man.
Yeah.
But
what about you, Dique? How you been?
I've been chilling, honestly. Like, besides work stuff, like the normal stuff, I guess I'm lined up to take the second vaccine like soon. So, and maybe we'll talk about this a little later, but like, it feels like COVID is at least ending, at least now for temporarily, which I am excited about. I'm excited to be able to at least chill with people, go out and stuff like that. I do think back at this year, and I feel very, very blessed. I don't feel like there's any other way to put it. I've had a lot of time to work on myself, build myself, and I'm kind of grateful for that. Like honestly, I'm just excited about the next few months, bro.
The self-care is off the charts. It should be off the charts, man. The freaking, finding ways to better your mind or change how you view things, or career evaluation, or life evaluation, or relationship evaluation, friendship evaluation, just a total comprehensive outlook toward yourself. If I get my Tony Robbins on real quick.
Oh man, those aggressively perfect teeth, like aggressively.
It's freaking banana hands of his. His hands are freaking massive.
About to jump out of his face. But yeah, no, I'm doing pretty well. I mean, same old working. Yeah, like the fact that we're able to talk about it the way we're talking about it shows that we're in a pretty okay place, all things considered.
That's true. That's definitely true. You still having dinner with Andrew Yang after this, or
Andrew Yang? What?
That's your boy.
How? When did this meme start? That Andrew Yang is my boy. When did that start?
First of all, you guys have roughly the same net worth. That's number one. Number two.
Oh God,
you guys hang around,
bro. Bro, if I had Andrew Yang's net worth, you'd all be millionaires. You'd both be millionaires too. But one day,
we'll get there. Slow and steady wins the race.
But yeah, I mean, a lot of updates have happened for COVID since. Let's see. So yeah, COVID-19, it's been decreasing. The number of infections have been decreasing. The last I checked, there was around 68,000 new infections a day, which seems like a lot, but that's 27% of the peak numbers, which was on January 7th of this year. So the infection rate has decreased. I'm not really sure why. I would wager it's a combination of vaccine rollout, weather. I would wager that, but I don't really know.
I feel like you gotta say it's vaccines, bro.
I mean, you have to. Like,
I would say that's the case.
Would it be?
I would say it's the case.
It's not only just that, right? Like, it's going down here, but it's still rising in like 68, 69 other countries.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think I think in the red states, quote unquote, where the governors have still taken a very politicized, cavalier approach to it still from the jump, I still think that's where the crux of the cases and the deaths, I still think that the majority of those, like, it's still an issue there because they still haven't taken it as seriously as they should have from the jump. So, you gotta factor that in, bake that in with the numbers.
Yeah. Vaccine deployment has been slow, but it's been picking up. The last time I checked, there was around 75 million doses have been administered. It's probably way more now. I think they're administering, was it up to 2 million?
Yeah, I think at least 2 million a day now, which is
I believe. Now, that doesn't necessarily, I don't think they account for full doses, so I just think that's just the number of doses that are going out, not full vaccine cycles. The amount of people who are fully vaccinated is probably harder to track, but yeah, it seems to be coming along.
Hopefully, people are actually getting the two. That's why I'm kind of glad about Johnson & Johnson.
A lot of people are. Oh yeah, and Johnson & Johnson, they released their vaccine. It's interesting because their vaccine is only one dose, and it doesn't require the same amount of sort of refrigeration. So the Moderna and the Pfizer vaccine, they need to be held at extremely low temperatures throughout the chain of supply. Johnson & Johnson doesn't have those same sort of stringent requirements. I think it's slightly less effective. When it comes, it says, according to trials, it boasts 72% efficacy rate, 85% efficacy against severe forms of COVID, and 100% against hospitalization and death.
I wanted to kind of jump in and just talk about efficacy, I guess, before we move on more to the conversation about that. Just because, like,
SAT word right there.
Yeah, well, I'm not in the front, man. Like, up until like when I looked it up, I just saw efficacy and I was like, oh, that shit looks like the word effective. That's what it fucking means, right? I just switched that up to effective in my head. No, that's like everybody. But bro,
practically it is. I mean, practically it is. Yes, I mean, it's almost a synonym.
Yeah, so it's like saying, like, for instance, like 95% efficacy doesn't mean that like 5% of vaccinated people get COVID. It's like more about the it's talking about the likelihood of catching it. And I guess that the likelihood of catching it also, or at least like what you define it, that also depends on the study. So the efficacy from study to study, even though they're kind of defining their own like goals, it's just like, so what do I mean by that? So like, Pfizer and Moderna, right? They defined a case as having at least one symptom mild, right? And a positive COVID-19 case. The Johnson & Johnson, on the other hand, they defined a positive COVID-19 test at least as having one moderate symptom. So moderate being like shortness of breath, abnormal blood oxygen levels, or like respiratory rate, or two milder symptoms, right? Such as like a fever, cough, fatigue, headache. So, you guys see like, right, both of those, both of those views are successful, right? But slightly different. So, like for instance, right, the Pfizer and the Moderna, that their 95% efficacy means that that people that don't have it are 20 times as likely to get it. Than people who haven't had it. But in actual trials, it's actually shown that it's that people who have gotten it are actually like 100 times less likely to get it. So like something like 0.04%. So that's pretty dope. I think the most important thing to note about this is that like all three vaccines are 100% effective against severe symptoms. So you ain't gonna die, which I think is the important part. And just for some comparison, right? It's just like the 2-dose measles, mumps, and rubella, right? Like that's 97% effective. Measles are 88% effective. Excuse me. Our vaccines are 88% effective against mumps. And like the flu, bro, which we always compare to COVID-19, the seasonal flu vaccine can range from 40 to 60% effective over year, and we still do that. So like, I mean, when I hear this, man, I think I'm like, okay, we got choices. I'm really hyped about the Johnson & Johnson one, just because the idea of one shot, you're done, move on with your life. That's great.
And you can vaccinate way many people, and also the storing requirements aren't nearly as stringent, so you don't have to worry about vaccine spoiling. You don't have to keep the supply chain as tight. It lowers costs as well. So yeah, I mean that's a pretty good sign.
Yeah, but I don't know what y'all think. That like, I personally think that we're not done with COVID. Like we may. I'm hoping, and I think we're done with the most severe part. But I think we're going to be living with COVID and lots of other things. The aftermath of COVID for decades.
The aftermath is going to last for the rest of human history, whatever it is.
Absolutely.
It'll manifest in ways that we probably can't even predict, because you have to think about how many perceptions have been changed, how many people's movements and life trajectories have changed. This is just, I mean, you could say that about any major event, really. So it's kind of like whatever, but this in particular, I think, is like, this is going to be in textbooks. It is going to be in textbooks, bro. Like our kids' textbook is going to be in there.
Big facts. I mean, plus you got to think about, it's so many layers to it. Like you got to think about, the socioeconomic effects. Not to get too political, but throughout this administration, with Biden and Harris, what they're going to have to do in terms of, and we're going to get into the stimulus bill, obviously. But
shut up! You got your Stimi check, bro. What do you want? You got your Stimi.
I'm trying to give a natural segue. Let me be.
You got your Stimi, bro. What are you mad about? You got the full 1,400.
I didn't get my 1,400 yet.
Oh man,
a few of my friends got it, man. This morning they were hyped, bro.
I did not get mine yet.
Oh man, they can't wait to get it in order to burn it at the bar, bro.
PlayStation 5, bro.
PlayStation 5. Oh my god.
They're just gonna spend it on updates.
Yeah, this is just a Sony stimulus check. All this is being routed to Sony and Microsoft.
It might as well have their logos on the check.
Yeah, basically, just gonna have the X and the P on the Stimi checks. It's like,
so first and foremost on these Stimi checks, fuck you for taking this fucking long to give us the money, right? Because if I'm not mistaken,
the Republicans.
The
Republicans.
No, but wait. So no, I don't think we should be talking to. So the Republicans, I feel like they did exactly what we expected to them, which fuck them, right? But the thing is, the Democrats did not need anybody's help to pass this. But what were they doing? Were they arguing amongst themselves? Like, what the fuck?
Yes. I mean, listen,
oh, you mean your boy Joe Manchin from West Virginia?
Yeah. You could call him out. You call out a number of them, but the progressives versus the progressives / independents versus the corporate Democrats. That freaking WWE match is just kicking off. This is the first round of it. You see what I'm saying? Like,
didn't they spend mad long trying to figure out whether the cutoff was going to be 80,000 or 100,000? Some stupid ass shit like that.
75. No, 70. Before it was 70,000. I think they wanted to cut it off at 80, and they settled at 75, I believe. So yeah, the cutoff. They were arguing about that. They were arguing about unemployment. Originally, the House passed.
Wait, the cutoff is 75 now? I thought it was they were fighting for 100. They downed it to 80.
I believe it. You're talking about for single,
yeah,
or just individuals.
Fuck everybody else. I'm single.
I believe it's 75. Last time I checked, I was just going off of AOC.
Man, I hope you're wrong.
AOC gave a whole rundown.
I hope you're wrong, bro. I want that seed money.
Listen, man. I know they were arguing about unemployment. It was originally 400. They had upped it, but they had to, for negotiation purposes, they went back down to 300. That's going to last for the next 6 months for those who are still out of work, and just a lot of give and take, man. A lot of pandering, a lot of reindeer games. But President Joey, he signed it. Checks are out already. Sony checks, Microsoft checks, Netflix checks, Hulu
fireworks, bro, fireworks.
Amazon Prime checks.
Man, I still didn't get the second Stimi check, let alone the third.
That's because you and Andrew Yang taxed out, are in a different tax bracket. Yeah, in a different tax bracket.
All jokes aside, I actually went up a tax bracket.
Hey, look at you.
Because of the stimulus checks?
Yes.
He's like, yo, you know what? Now that we took away your livelihood, let's give you a raise.
Hell yeah.
Like, that's crazy.
I'm gonna pay the most in taxes I've ever paid this year. And I've made the most this year.
They give you money just for you to give them right back.
Yes.
The stimmies don't count against your taxes though. I looked it up.
Well, the stimmies themselves, they're just, I don't know about this one, but I know the first one, it was just a tax credit accelerated. So if you didn't claim the stimmy and you were, or for some reason get the check, you'd still be able to put on your tax return as a credit.
I'm gonna look it up because I think
it's different, and you got to factor in unemployment as well. Unemployment, they ask you from the jump, like, listen, do you want to withhold 10% of this, or do you want all of this? And depending on your situation, you needed all of it, for your bills or to feed yourself. Or to keep your car,
right?
You know what I mean, so I know, speaking for myself, I was like, I'm not withholding anything. I'll pay you yours back, but I want to keep my shit. So give me all my ducats, all my coins, all my Sonic rings.
I feel like this is the last stimmy we're gonna get.
You think this round is the last one we're gonna get?
Yeah, unless. Now, go ahead. What were you going to say?
If there's another surge.
Yeah, that's what I was going to get at.
Exactly. If there's another surge or another outbreak or another fiscal atom bomb or whatnot, market-wise, you can bet your ass they'll have to come back to the table and do another one.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. This one was a given, consider that they ran on the platform of $2,000 checks. And only remember, 1,400 plus 600 equals 2,000.
That's how it works.
You know.
Yo, fuck them, man. That's because they don't think we're good at math. So one of the things about
wait, what were you gonna say, Edwin?
Nice. I mean, to be fair, most people are pretty bad at math.
Yeah, that's true.
So I guess I do agree with you, Hugo, that like this is hopefully the last one, but maybe not. And it's mainly I'm saying maybe not. Is because the CDC has been warning against like us opening up way too early. And some states are just like, super, super hype, man. You know how it gets in New York when it gets hot a little bit. Everybody's not wilding out, trying to, I think Texas and a few other states are trying to like open up like full movie theaters are opening up a little bit. Who gives a fuck about movie theaters? The one specific thing that I care about is schools opening up, man. I don't know how y'all feel about that shit.
Well, I know here in Jersey, a bunch of school districts are they've got a plan in place because they got the funding to do it. They got the funding for the for PPE and air filtration systems and this, that, and third. They have the money to open up safely, and I'm guessing they've been using this remote time to put a actual physical plan in place, because outbreaks, it doesn't take much. It only takes one kid or one staff member to get this to shut shit down all over again. So but the main thing is with with really the last two stimulus bills, if you include this one, they a concerted effort has been made to put money in the pockets of school districts so that they can have what they need to open safely. Because remember, that's another thing that Joe Biden ran on. He's like, listen, we should be able to walk and chew bubblegum at the same time. We should be able to. We want the kids to go back to school. We want staff members want to go back to teaching, but they don't want to die at the cost of their pension. You know what I mean, or their tenure or whatever. So these are the effects of that, and we'll see. We'll see how safe it is. We'll see if it works. Really, everything's a wait and see, man. You guys know that.
Everyone's they're conducting clinical tests with the population.
Remember, we're having a herd immunity.
Yeah,
we're still rolling that out. We're gonna run that back.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on that, Edwin?
I mean, herd immunity. Sure, we can eventually reach herd immunity at the cost of how many lives. No, I know.
Oh, my fault. I thought you were. Keep going.
No, it's all good. I don't know. I'm indifferent in the sense that I don't know. It's hard because you don't want to put people in danger, but on the flip side, there's there's huge documented negative effects of not having kids going to school, like mental health effects, them not having the same access to food, socialization. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. The more I think about it, the less I'm sure about how I feel about it.
You're muted, Ugo.
My bad. To go off of Ed's point, Dique, we were lockstep in our approach to it. I felt like this particular school year, nationwide, should have been just chalk up the L and just be like nationwide remote just for this school year. I said that from the jump, bro. From the jump. Just take a nationwide L. You know what I mean? You can blame it on whoever you want. It's real easy to throw it on 45. It's real easy to blame it on him, all of them. You know what I mean? But just for a more conscious and reasonable transition, I felt like they should have just took the L, full remote nationwide for the 2020 school year or 2020-21 school year, then reevaluate over the summer and have a comprehensive plan throughout. But that's not going to work because we got 50 different countries within these divided states of America. So, that was just unrealistic from the jump, but that's what I would have done. But,
yeah, I feel like a lot of the problems came from forcing to try to go back into school 100%. Like this idea that was going to happen. So like, I remember at first I was definitely like 100%, like, everybody should go remote, which I still feel like everybody who could and, should go remote. There's just always this thing about like specific kids that have special services. And like the one thing about that is just like, essentially like those kids that have special service, right? Like to me, I even if it sounds mean, like that just means your school is essentially babysitting them for the most part, right? Like as fucked up as this is not talking about, like I'm talking when I think about like special services and stuff like that, or I guess something so hard that you would need to, or some type of
you're talking special needs, right? Special needs children.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking about like if you need a service that so like there's just so many problems with schools, right? Like I think the culture of like students thinking that like responsibility of learning is on the teacher created like a ton of problems, and I think remote work really, I mean, it exacerbated, it showed a lot of different problems with education, but I think one of the reasons why it was so hard for people to like want to move into full remote or even accept it is because teachers, at least in my opinion, have been trained to like baby and spoon feed kids, and like they've grown way too dependent on having somebody there all the time. Where like when you work independent, you know, or remote, you're gonna have to do some things independently. But I guess even besides like just getting back to like the point, right? Like I think they should have just done remote 100% and then like taken those smaller cases where it's like, yes, these kids need to be in the building and, you know, just work with them. So like, even though they're trying to go back and open up schools, I think New York City's trying to open up school the week after this, right? Like actually right before the spring break. And there's a rumor going around that the reason they're trying to do that is so when they expect it to go bad and then be able to kind of justify, say that the 10 days that they're closed happen over the break. I don't know if it's true or not, but that's besides the point. Like even though I'm just like, I think that they're rushing, it's a bad move. I do think about those kids that need those services, and I'm like, you know, I guess we just got to do what we got to do to try to help those kids out as much as possible. I just think they should have just taken the L, like you said, you know, like just accepted it, man, because like the research, I guess, apparently shows that kids don't spread it that fast amongst themselves. Like they can still clearly infect other people. But it's like the articles I read were weighing the, like what Edwin mentioned before, like the losses that can come from that against the losses from not being in school. And they were kind of rationalizing or saying that like the rate of infection that actually happens at schools is not high enough, right? It's not deadly enough to the community to justify closing it. But I want to point out two things, right? The people that are making these decisions, their kids probably don't go to public school.
Yeah,
So why the fuck do they know? And then, yo, brother, go, because I actually looked up the fucking document telling them what to do. Get the fuck out of here, bro. It wasn't like the only way this will work is if you actually. No, it won't work. Kids are not gonna fucking social distance, bro.
Wait, what specifically?
So it was like the rules were very like general rules, right? So prepare yourself and your family for in-person thing. Know your risk. Try to keep kids 6 feet apart. Bro, my classes were stuffed 30 plus. You ain't keeping no. And mind you, like we have less people, but it's more like they're pretty much saying do the things that we normally do, right? Like keep everybody 6 feet apart. Have the supplies there to clean the tables. And I think it would be a little bit easier in the summer, right? Because you can keep all the windows open. Because that's a big problem with like the winter, right? The scaffolding. Especially like with someone that had those nets over there, again, you need to have the doors open during the winter. That's terrible. But it was just specific things like that, Edwin. Like they were, it was more strategies to promote behaviors to reduce spread. Like literally, I'm reading that. Adapt classroom strategies to promote behaviors to reduce spread. And I think like they're not bad suggestions at all. But I think the problem is that we're talking about people. Yo, fuck the fact that they're kids, right? They're kids, so they're definitely going to be more reckless. But people in general are not following these things correctly. Like, how do you expect kids? And one of the studies was pointing out that, like, the teachers did even worse, bro. Like, the teachers were spreading it even worse, which I guess justifies the whole thing that kids don't spread it, you know, as badly. But, like, I don't know, man. I feel like there has to be some flaws in that stuff because I feel like schools by nature are a mass fucking gathering. So,
yeah, I mean, there's so many ways you can take it in terms of like, really, there's since the Spanish flu, I guess that's been the most popular precedents that I can think of that's been associated with COVID-19. We weren't prepared for this.
Yeah,
we weren't. And as a first world country, you know, yes, you can factor in population. Absolutely. You factor in the way the government is set up as well. A lot of factors that go into why it's harder to, on a nationwide level, really get a hold of this and get everybody on the same page versus other first world countries where it's like, all right, this is what we're doing. And everybody just looks around like, all right, this is what we're doing. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? So I think that the shit show that has been COVID-19, particularly in the early to middle part of it, and rounding out into the beginning of Joe Biden's presidency kickoff. I think that right there, that hurricane of fuckery, I think what that is going to do is that is going to put even more pressure for this administration as well as the following administration to really, really try to hammer and have some type of idea, to have something in place for future for this to not be caught with your pants down again as a country.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that is the only thing I can think of, because this is going to happen again. Absolutely, it's not a matter of if; it's just a matter of when. You go back to any pandemic or you go back to the surviving pandemic documentary I watched on Netflix that we mentioned episodes and episodes ago. They warned of this happening. They said, listen, this happens in Africa. This happens in Asia. This happens in Europe. This happens all the time. America, we're not special. It's coming. And we got to have our shit together. And they didn't.
We won't.
So yeah. So like I said, to answer your point, Dique, this administration, they got to step up and do everything under the sun to have something. Just have something. Have something that you can sign off on with, and a combination of common sense and the science, and experts and this and the third, and be like, listen, this is the plan that we're going to have, because 5, 10, 3, who knows? It's going to happen again. It's going to happen again. We got to have something.
Yeah. Edwin, I don't know if you had anything else you wanted to say. I was going to talk about something else.
No, I'm good.
So I actually started looking into looking at the post-COVID world, to see if people thought, or experts, quote unquote, thought that we'd be able to eradicate COVID-19. And I found out that actually the World Health Organization has some, a few things that they consider, right, when thinking or considering, or four categories that they think about when they're trying to see if something's a good candidate for complete eradication. So number one clearly being vaccines, right? Another one being no animal vectors. So that specifically means it can't transfer to animals. We can't transfer to animals, and animals can't transfer to us. And I think the problem with that, I guess in our specific case, is that we believe, right, that we got COVID from bats. So that kind of throws that out the window immediately.
Yeah.
Then there's contact tracing and cooperation, which seems, that's just going to be too fucking hard. Mainly because we asymptomatic people, right, can have it and we don't know. Where something else, it's a lot easier to do contact tracing, because smallpox was the example they were talking about, where I believe that was almost completely eradicated, if not whatever, because it was only spread from human to human. Mm-hmm. But yeah, the fact that it's asymptomatic, right, it's it's going to be hard to do contact tracing, and from that end of things. And then the other thing is global cooperation, bro. And we ain't fucking getting that shit, son. I feel things definitely got worse once Trump got in there, just because no fucks to give. But that's kind of the big thing, because the World Health Organization came about because I believe it was smallpox. And it kind of showed that we need to cooperate for things like that. But while we were in the middle of this pandemic, Trump said fuck you to the World Health Organization. Things were just kind of falling apart. And it's clear, it's evident now, bro, because even though we, there's 113 countries that have begun vaccination, we still got 68 countries, bro, that it's going up. And Brazil, my man, is number one, son. I am extremely worried about Brazil, just because of there's a lot of bats down there, bro. And bats are fucking rats with fucking wings, son. They're harbingers of fucking disease and stuff like that. So we're not done. We're clearly not done with COVID. I feel like this shit is just gonna be, we're gonna have to take a vaccine every year.
I feel like we're in the third quarter. If anybody was asking me, where do you think we are with it? The first quarter was we got, it was 48. It was 48 to nothing in the first quarter, COVID. Second quarter, it was 48 to 14. Then halftime, which was the election. In the third quarter, Trump gets pulled. Joey comes in at quarterback, and
even at the score, he better not fuck up like the Knicks.
Like he's just trying to get it. He's just trying to break even 24-24 after the third quarter. That's what he's going for. And then fourth quarter, Joey, he's trying to bring it on home. Him and Kamala in the fourth quarter. That's the way I look at it. You know. So I actually like that analogy. I actually like that analogy a lot. So that's where we're at, dude. That's where we're at. Stay out of Brazil. I'm gonna watch Contagion tonight, by the way. I think I have to.
To scare yourself, son?
Yeah.
You haven't got enough of real life fucking Contagion?
Well, I watched this.
You have to live it out.
I watched Outbreak, which was on CW. It was on Netflix. You know, it was like 2 seasons of it. And I was like, this was shot like 3 years ago. Like, why is anybody not surprised that? Who knows?
Yeah, man.
So we're all gonna get vaccinated though, right?
Yeah, I took it.
Yeah, I know you took it. I'm talking about for Ed Boy.
Don't ask me dumb questions. Come on.
I mean, you're an anti-masker, bro. Like,
come on, come on, bro.
Don't ask me dumb questions.
Don't put that in the ether. Come on. I mean, as soon as it's available, I got teased. I got word that some vaccines fell off a truck, and no, basically, you know, at these sites with the Pfizer and Moderna vaccine, if they have it left over, they generally give away the remainder just because of the storage requirements. I waited online. Right when I got to the front, they're like, "Oh, we ran out." I'm like, "Damn." So, you know, just due to the deployment, I have to wait. The way it is in New York, how they're giving essential workers and, well, I don't know why I put it in quotes, but I just think the deployment's just kind of, I don't know. They should just give it to as many people as possible, you know. Just roll it out. They should have rolled it out ASAP. Anyone who wants to get it can get it, you know. I think this kind of staggered approach makes it so that, like, I don't know. I just think it's slower deployment. At least from what I've seen of people evaluating the deployment, generally it seems the consensus is that it makes sense just to give as many vaccines to as many people as possible rather than doing a tiered approach where there's like this demographic is like, yo, fuck it, free for all, everyone gets it. Just to make sure that that everyone's getting it and the rollout is as simple as possible. I think maybe from I don't even know, maybe from a deployment standpoint, that might be a little bit more of a free for all as far as like people waiting online and stuff like that. But I don't know. I think the goal should just be vaccinating as many people as possible, regardless.
Well, to go off of that point, one quick aspect, I took this from BOC. She tweeted this out. She mentioned that all adults will be eligible for vaccines starting May 1st. It's not a part of the stimulus package, but it will be announced tonight, and tonight was yesterday. So
that's globally. I mean, not globally, nationally.
That's nationally.
I heard that May 1st date too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
well, I want it way before May 1st.
I'm with both of you guys.
I want it yesterday.
Yo, son, I got super lucky with mine. So when I actually called to make my appointment, they actually told me, I called, I guess at this point, it's been almost 3 weeks. And I called them and they were like, oh, the earliest vaccine or earliest appointment we have is March 13th, which is tomorrow. And then the person fucked up and the system reset itself. And then when they checked again, they were like, yo, we have one for tomorrow morning. And I just fucking took that shit. So I'm lucky. They actually opened up like a new site around here where I live at. I'm not going to say where. But it was specifically for my neighborhood, because it's like one of those neighborhoods where, it's kind of hard to get to. And there's just there's a lot of minorities. So they need to pander to us. So I took the shot. It was actually super fast, bro. The Air Force was the one doing it. It was at a school. The line was long, man. I got there a little bit early thinking like, oh, let me just, just in case so I can get in and out. And the line was already like turning the corner on the block. And I was like, oh, fuck. I was like, I'm going to be here forever. But honestly, I was in there like at the front of the line 15 minutes. It was extremely, extremely efficient. And then once you get the shot, they ask you a bunch of questions, but then they made me sit down and wait 15 minutes. They made everybody do that. And I guess it's because, just in case people have like a bad reaction to it. So I got up, I walked home, and I did get some side effects. My arm was a little sore, not too sore, but like it hurt if I moved it up too high. And I did get like occasional moments of like dizziness or fatigue and stuff like that. But it wasn't something where, it was like all day. I did have to call off of work though. Like that was actually the only time, like I rarely ever call off work, but it was just like so hard to focus because I would get like, nauseous, hard to focus, dizzy. I was like, yo, fuck this shit. And then I just called off work and then I just, chilled and burned all day. And then the next day, son, it was like nothing.
Yeah. A friend of mine, from back in my teaching days, she got the shot recently. I was on the phone with her the other day, and she told me that she was driving, and she was like, "I gotta go home," and she just laid down because, it's like a bunch of symptoms just hit her out of nowhere.
Yeah,
she slept it off, but she said the very next day it was like nothing happened. So, I guess your superpower's got to come in. Oh, it's X-Men.
Right.
Yo, I had some paranoid ass friends, bro. They were like, "Oh, you're gonna get the mark of the beast." They were like, "Yo, let me know when you start mutating."
Oh, man,
and then I was like, "Bro, if I start mutating and I get a superpower, I hope they run out of doses, and then I would just fucking come after y'all."
Oh my God! It's usually the people that don't go to the doctor anyway, probably in shitty health. It's like, come on, bro.
Nah,
it's like you're not the spitting image of health.
No, I got a cousin. He watches from time to time. He's a freaking hotep. Like he's so pro black this, that, and the third. He's like, dude.
Oh man,
Tuskegee experiments, bro. They're trying to wipe us out. Man, yada yada yada.
It's funny because people mention the Tuskegee experiments and don't even know what happened. Like
they only learned about that shit because of what's that show? The show that came out? Not Mad Men. Oh fuck, I forget because of that fucking Marvel comic.
But they're saying, oh yeah, the U.S. government gave black people syphilis and then they died. They injected. I'm like, bro, this not what happened. And that's that. Sorry, I'm going off on a tangent.
That's
but
fine.
It's good. But it's like but something like Tuskegee was bad enough. Like you don't have to embellish based on your own worldview. You know what I mean? Like you could look at it's not wrong to be skeptical of things in general. It's just do your research. Like if you don't like vaccines, fine, do your research. I had a conversation with a friend the other day and they mentioned seeing random YouTube videos and saying that's why they didn't take it. I'm like, all right, that's fine. It could be the case that the vaccine isn't good. Have you done any research? And they're like, oh, I seen the videos. I was like, well, okay, have you done any research? Well, no, but I seen the videos. I was like, okay. All right. So, there's all this information available. There's a CDC website. There's medical journals. There's all this information. All you have to do is Google. There are like medical journals. What's that? Like people don't even know what that is. I'm just like, oh man. I was like, bro, it's like you're doing all of this mental gymnastics. It's like you don't even have to believe me. You could think all this COVID, COVID's a hoax. The virus,
population control.
Yeah, exactly. You could take everything I say with like a pound of salt, but just do your own research. It's like, you can do it, and it's weird because the people refuse to do it. Like they refuse to look at like the first party information. Like there's plenty of info out there. It's weird. It's like it's like this unfalsifiable idea because it's like. If you see information that goes against your belief, it's fake information. And if you see information that confirms your belief, oh, that's the truth. It's like this. It's like this weird sort of unfalsifiable belief. So I don't know. It's kind of sad. There's nothing wrong with being skeptical, but do your research and then and do it in good faith. and
dude,
see what comes out.
Straight Candace Owens when she went
Oh my God, I hate her.
freaking Joe Rogan's podcast and tried to school him on freaking climate change.
Climate change.
Yeah. I've read a bunch of articles. Really? What have you read?
Which ones?
Yeah, just a bunch, just a ton, and I just don't believe it.
You saw she snapped where she was like, it's just a bunch of things. It's just
a bunch. Just a bunch.
Yeah. So name one article. I'd be like, name one, and we'll pull it up right now and we'll read it.
I hate those fake those personality types, bro. Like her, Steven Crowder, I fucking hate. Ben Shapiro, I fucking hate.
Tucker Carlson.
We need to do an episode on these fake ass fucking intellectuals, bro.
Oh my God,
I fucking hate them.
It's funny you mentioned that. Stacey Dash just crossed back over. She's pro-black now.
Did she just find out she was black?
I guess the conservative dollars ran out.
They're like, we got Candace Owens now. Get the fuck out of here.
We've been replaced. We broke the quota. We already got Candace or Kundis, whatever you guys want to call her.
Oh man, that's
hilarious.
That's weird, man. Man, and people who've gotten COVID are still being affected by the virus, even though they cleared it.
We talked about the Longhaulers. Yeah,
that's fucking crazy, man.
Yeah, bro.
Finding scarring on their lungs and still short of breath, not having taste, still having scent issues. It's crazy.
There's just so much we don't know, bro. Because I'm thinking about, like, we don't talk about the effects on kids yet. And I don't know if that's even something we should be talking about.
That is true, because they're saying kids
still learning. They're still
learning. Kids aren't being affected, and then we find 10 years later,
they can't produce babies, and then that's how the human species fucking dies and shit.
That was the plan. That's the long-term human depopulation, bro. You've seen the same videos I have. You've seen the same videos I have.
Yo, it's not only the Longhaulers from people who got COVID, but I'm just thinking about, like, people who have just remained super inactive during this whole thing.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, absolutely. Like that's why, I talk to people all the time about, dude, are you going out for walks? Do you have any type of fitness like thing in place at home in terms of like sit-ups? Even if you don't have like I'm blessed. I've got a bunch of workout equipment at home, treadmill, the whole nine. I'm straight. I stay active 2-3 times a week. You know what I mean? But not everybody has that. Like if you're just Netflixing and snacking, and I've just been doing that from last fucking March.
Exercising the muscles in my mouth.
Yeah.
Hey.
Pause. Who knows what? I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say I would not recommend be in that category because you're gonna have high blood pressure, diabetes, hypertension, heart disease. All that stuff, you're going to be more susceptible, high cholesterol, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah. And it's the stress, too. It's like stress in combination of being sedentary. Like even myself, like I stay active. I have like a regular workout schedule, but just given the new mode of, largely working from a computer and working from home most of the time, you still have to make an effort to, because there's like all those calories that are burned, walking to the train station or walking to work or just doing things that you don't burn during a day. Mm-hmm. And even like I'm working out at pretty much the same rate that I was before. But yeah, I mean, I can get it. Like I've gained a little bit of weight.
I thought your clothes were just shrinking.
Well, both, because I fucked up on one cycle, so that was actually a thing. But
fucked up on one cycle, man.
Yeah, but you said what?
No, I was gonna ask, what's good with these fucking vaccine passports that I heard about? Yo, hopefully that forces some of my friends that are being anti-vaxxers or just conspiracy people to get that shit. I'm hoping people get caught with FOMO.
No, that'll make it worse.
That'll be the game changer right there.
That'll make it worse. That's fueling conspiracies in the sense because people are saying, so recently Denmark, I think, was the first country to actually institute something like vaccine passport. So people who are fully vaccinated are able to leave the country and go places with more freedom. And even over there, there's a discussion about sort of like freedom, civil liberties, making sort of an underclass. Like I've heard that, like a vaccine underclass, having people who, for whatever reason, just choose not to have the vaccine, have their movements restricted. People are saying that's unconstitutional in the American sense. People are saying that violates their human rights. It's pretty interesting, sort of, set of concerns.
I feel like that's just gonna devastate economies that rely on people.
Oh yeah,
I'm thinking about Brazil, bro. Brazil. Let's go back to Brazil. Mm-hmm. Like my man, they're fucking screwed, bro. Like if we were to do something like, because I have no fucking say in that shit. Like, that's just gonna.
I doubt they're gonna do it. I highly doubt that Brazil's gonna do any sort of vaccine. I highly doubt them out of all countries.
Dude, you gotta think about the Caribbean countries.
You
gotta think about Mexico. You gotta think of you gotta think about third world countries that tourism is their number one source of infrastructure. Like that is going to directly affect them.
Well, it depends how they do it. Are they going to restrict people from going to those places, right? Or are those countries themselves going to institute? Like I doubt you'll have those countries. I mean, I guess it depends on the situation, but like for Brazil, for example, given Bolsonaro and the general government's handling of the situation, I doubt on their end they're going to have like vaccine passports or anything like that. But we may have it.
That shit don't exist.
But we may have it on our end where like you can't go to X, Y, and Z countries. I wonder how it's going to manifest, because I imagine every different country and jurisdiction is going to have their own form of, their vaccine passport.
I believe so.
So it'll be interesting. But yeah, it sucks for, economies that rely on tourism. Funnily enough, like the quote unquote third world developing countries, most of them are doing better with COVID than we are.
Absolutely.
I mean, not to say that's necessarily a good thing, because they're still eating a shit sandwich in other ways. But like having
terrible.
like having food, I think that's a bigger concern than COVID. Yeah, that's the way
you'll definitely have a stronger immune system when you're like eating once a day, or having a terrible water supply, or
COVID is struggling there. He's like, where are all the nutrients?
Dude, they'll be like, yo, COVID-19, that's a Tuesday, like we're straight.
Yeah, that's interesting. I was reading an article, I didn't finish reading it, but they were trying to decipher why certain countries have more spread of the virus as opposed to others, and there's differing reasons, and it's actually not clear cut. I would just assume, just because like in developed countries that are worse hit, like UK, the US, etc., continental European countries, they just have more traffic going through them. So, you have a place like New York or LA, like you constantly have people from all over the world constantly going in and out. So I would assume that would be one of the major reasons, but it's hard to know. Like, I don't think nearly as many people, even per capita, are going through the United States as opposed to going to like, Papua New Guinea or, other countries like that. I don't know, but it's interesting.
I'm pretty sure the reason it's working out like this is because it was genetically engineered by scientists in China, and it specifically goes for genetic markers. So they were using it to target Americans.
Funny enough, they call it the China virus and all this other bullshit, and they have a way lower death rate than we do per capita.
Of course, because
it's hilarious.
Because they want to knock communism or whatever. And a third. Meanwhile, if the government's like, if you just walk through an airport in China or in Japan or whatnot, like they've had temperature check stations. They've had that for decades. They've had that for the longest. My boy who's really, really, really a big fan of anime and Japanese culture, kind of like my brother, he was explaining to me, he was like, yo, he's watched a bunch of documentaries and like, dog, all the temperature check stations, and they've got one, I think, in an airport in China that as soon as you hit security, you hit a temperature checkpoint. If it goes off, security, they come right to you like, whoa. You're you're 101. Come with us. Check your temperature. You got to answer a whole bunch of questions about where you came from. When's the last time you went to a doctor? Yada yada yada. And cats over here, they clown it and they call that communism, and that's an invasion of my rights and God's breathing system and all that dumb shit.
God's breathing system. What a combination of words.
500K deaths later. Who you mad at? Me or yourself? Fun flex voice.
I also think something else that made the spread go faster was the 5G towers, because your mask actually have a receiver. Because
it transfers the COVID faster
through COVID rides the waves.
Listen,
and
man,
then it just goes at the speed of sound.
Man, oh man, it's something about that high speed internet, man.
But the thing is, I don't have to take the vaccine, because I could close my third eye where the 5G tries to penetrate. So once you close it, you're immune.
Yo, I saw this one video I shared with my mom, bro. It was this dude. He took a mask. I think he was Nigerian too, which made it worse. He took a mask. He took some tweezers and he pulled out the metal part in the divider section. Like, see, this is where the 5G is.
Oh no, bro! I saw another video of that. It was this American lady who did it. There's a whole bunch of people who are like, "Oh my god,
the foolishness!"
Oh my god,
this is where the 5G in this wire is where the 5G is.
Oh god, no, bro.
It's killing us,
bro. You need to sell them to like Ghana, bro. Like you need to sell them to another African country, bro. He can't represent y'all, bro. That's not
good. Man.
So in the coming months, right? So do y'all think there's anything? Is there anything you guys are looking for? I guess, do you guys have any outlooks about the future that might be positive?
Travel. Yeah. My thing's sorry to cut you off, Ed Boy.
Oh no, go.
My thing's travel. I can't wait to be able to to travel again safely, of course. Travel again and see the world, because I was in the midst of doing that way before all this COVID nonsense happened. I was loving life in Amsterdam, living it up. So yeah, travel, and of course, yeah, bars, man, bars. Like,
bars, baby, more ways than one.
I miss bars, Funk Flex bars, and New York City bars. I miss New York City bars and bar hopping with Ed Boy and meeting interesting people in the streets of New York.
Very interesting people.
Yes, men and women.
Hey, man, can I carry your bags? Go away before I call the cops. Remember that shit? Oh my god, that shit was hilarious.
Oh my god, we'll get into that story.
Oh man, that was fun times. That was fun times.
Fuck you! Keep going. You saw me. I'm like, what?
Like, dang, like, lady, you look like a strong breeze could literally kill you. Like, we're just trying to carry your bags up. Man.
The lady from the story Ed Boy's talking about, she looked like the crazy cat lady from The Simpsons.
She did, but older than that.
Older.
And this was like, man. This is like a situation. I don't know. You know what? I'll give her the benefit of the doubt. Maybe she was robbed something, but the way she came at us was just completely left field. We were so nice, like, excuse me, ma'am, do you need help?
You probably
like, I was like, oh man, no, bro, we weren't looking any kind of suspicious.
Yeah, right.
We were just talking amongst each other and minding our business, and she was.
And we weren't the only people around too. There was like this girl ahead of us. There were people behind us. No one was trying to help this lady. And we walked past her and we went back. He's like, hey, you need help with the bags? And she's like, ah. I was like, oh, God. Holy shit. Maybe they felt her power level and we didn't see it. We're not adept. We didn't feel her. We didn't feel the dark side.
Yeah. Listen,
so Edwin's looking forward to classic racist moments.
Yes.
Anything else? Anything else?
Absolutely.
Looking forward.
Me included.
I know what I'm looking forward to.
What party?
Wait, were you gonna say something, Edwin?
No, I mean, I'm doing pretty okay now. I'm just looking forward to the vaccine. Once I have the vaccine, I mean, I just hope this passes. I hope people are healthy. That's pretty much it for myself. As soon as I have the vaccine, I'll feel a little bit more at ease to like do more things, go more places, and still hang out with people who I think are relatively responsible. Because even after I get the vaccine, I'm not, slapping fives with typhoid Marys. So I'm good.
I'm looking forward to the music. I'm looking forward to Kanye's post Kim breakup, and also looking forward to
Ezoku.
Hey.
Nice shot. Again, man. People wonder here. Yeah, oh girl, I love the way she do it. She get low like it's nothing really to it. She pick it up and she spin it back around and she get it from my mama. Damn, I knew it. Ezoku, Ezoku, Ezoku.